What's going on, everybody? My name's Tenebrous Infinite, and Alpine Unrest drops tomorrow. So I'm putting together this video to give you guys some tips for some last-minute preparation that you'll want to do before Alpine Unrest drops, to talk over the patch notes that have come out today, and then also to talk about some of the fun new achievements that are coming to the game, because they include some pretty interesting little Easter eggs in them. So, first things first, let's talk about how you should get ready for Alpine Unrest. Alpine Unrest is going to introduce two new LMGs to the game. The KVM-59 machine gun and the KVM-89 squad automatic weapon. The KVM-59 will be using 762 and the 89 will be using 556. So what you're going to want to do in order to prepare for these two new LMGs is you're going to want to keep a good 3,000 bullets for both of those stocked inside your plundra, so that the moment that you get it, you'll be able to just go out and shoot as many bullets as you want and get the full Daka Daka experience from the 59 and the 89. The best ways to farm up these resources are off of dead soldiers. Dead soldiers can drop both the 762 and the 556 respectively, and if you're carrying both of the battle rifles, so an AI-76 or an AG-4 and also an AG-5 in your inventory, you'll be able to find both of these types of ammo very easily off of the dead soldiers. Alongside that, in order to farm the 762, you're going to want to go back to the earlier bunkers in the game. All of these early bunkers will drop the 762 very reliably in all of their loot tables, and so that means going back to the first bunker that you get to, Veslin, and then also the naval base on the initial island, as well as the various other bunkers that are situated close to those locations. Then alongside that, you'll probably want to do some tank farming, so the military tanks drop the 762 very reliably in their loot table, as long as you again have that sort of weapon in your inventory. And then for the 556, you can get that off of the dead soldiers, and then you can also get that at the two northern bunkers, so that's Hermelinen and the Skavarden bunker. And then also alongside that, you'll want to farm prototype tanks. I find prototype tanks are the best source of the 556 ammo, and they're really easy to take down as well, as long as you know how to fight tanks easily. So definitely go off and farm tons of prototype tanks. You can essentially actually farm the prototype tanks in the early game areas very reliably. So while you're farming up your 762 at those early game bunkers, go off to the areas where a couple prototype tanks can spawn and just look around for them, and you'll be able to find them pretty reliably. I'll show you a couple locations here and now. The easiest two locations I find for hunting for prototype tanks is around the Nesby farmlands in this kind of plains area just around here, outside of the Seltholmen Church just over here and along this road, and then just outside of the little airport bunker that you can get to over here. So a lot of times you'll be able to find a prototype tank just kind of wandering around here. Sometimes you can even find two in the area, if you're lucky. So then, outside of keeping a ridiculous stock of bullets in order to be ready for the LMGs, there's a couple more things that you'll probably want to come well equipped with over to Alpine Unrest. So one of the big things is bringing along a lot of adrenaline and a lot of medkits. These new enemies have lots of very strong weapons, and the enemies themselves are incredibly durable. So you're going to want a lot of health supplies just to make sure that you're able to actually deal with the enemies at hand. We'll be talking about some of the new weapons that we're going to see on the enemies during the patch notes in just a moment here. But then also alongside that, for the new LMGs, you're likely going to want to bring along at least a barrel extension, maybe 2 barrel extensions, and potentially an ACOG sight. We don't know yet if the LMGs will actually fit some sort of sight attachment, but if you do have the ability to put a sight on it, you're likely going to want the red dot sight on it. So that came in from a great commenter of mine named Michael. Again, shout outs to Michael. You're awesome, dude. So definitely you're going to want to have a couple attachments spare and handy. You're going to want tons of medkits, and you're going to want an absurd amount of ammunition. Next up, let's get into some of these patch notes here. So the patch notes reads as follows. This month, we're proud to put into your hands our first expansion, Alpine Unrest. In order to bring you the substantial update to the game, we needed to give it the appropriate amount of time. Work started a few months ago and was done in parallel with the other updates we brought your way, with the aim to help set the stage for this release. There's a lot to go over this month, and not all of it is limited to the paid expansion. We have bug fixes as usual, but on top of that, we also have some goodies that are readily found in Alpine Unrest making their way to Ostertorn in a limited fashion. All in all, this is a major achievement for the team, and we hope you enjoy playing it as much as we did making it. Now, the island of Himfjäll awaits. Alpine Unrest takes place on the island of Himfjäll, off the east coast of Ostertorn. This former popular ski destination is now abandoned, waiting for you to explore it for equipment, weapons, answers to new questions, and more. The town consists of several key locations, including towns with cafes and shops, caravan parking lots, military bases, ski slopes, a burning church, and the massive ski hotel Björntanet. On top of that, the new island also continues the story of Generation Zero, providing new missions and introducing you to new allies, a group of survivors who have managed to survive the machine invasion against all odds. But we can't introduce new friends without also giving you new enemies, and that is where the Apocalypse class comes in. This new tier of machines are the deadliest to date, utilizing horrible weapons like flamethrowers and biochemical guns to try and take you down. So make sure to be extra careful when moving around the island. Lastly, a new expansion would be nothing without new weapons, clothes, collectibles, and achievements. Alpine Unrest introduces machine guns to the game, the KVM-59 machine gun and the KVM-89 squad automatic weapon. Both of these will be excellent tools for fighting back. Additionally, we have new outfits, new things to collect, and of course, new achievements to unlock. So keep an eye out, you never know where they might be found. But that doesn't mean you're safe on the mainland. While the Apocalypse class machines cover Himfjäll, some have made their way over to Ostertorn and may appear in select areas of the mainland, should you be unlucky enough to run into them. Thankfully, the new machine gun class of weapons we've introduced can also be found by all players. There is a twist though. You'll have to defeat some of the new machines to have a chance to get them. But new challenges bring new rewards. Good luck. The general bug fixes that will come as a standard free update alongside the launch of Alpine Unrest follow. So first off, the weapons. They fixed an issue where the firing mode of an automatic weapon would be reset after attaching a weapon mod. They fixed an issue where there was no quality level shown for the AI-76 extended magazine. They fixed an issue where sometimes the wrong weapon icon would be displayed while ADS then equipping another weapon. They fixed an issue where the equip animation for the already equipped weapon would play while equipping a new weapon. They fixed an issue where sometimes the M49 rocket would appear back in your hand after reloading only one rocket. They fixed an issue where the reload animation for the experimental M49 would clip into your face when reloading only one rocket. And they've fixed an issue where the experimental M49 would automatically fire its second rocket when your character was knocked down. For the UI, they fixed an issue where the yellow outline would persist on machines after unequipping the binoculars when using the tech view. They toned down the distance on the POIs that were seen in the Back on Track mission. They fixed an issue where the POIs were not shown for all the machines you needed to destroy during the To the Lighthouse mission. They fixed an issue where the unlock icon was inconsistent on the locked door during the To the Lighthouse mission. And they fixed an issue where there was no interact prompt for the bunker doors at the Martin bunker. And then they fixed an issue where the destroyed blast doors would still have an interact prompt. For the missions, they fixed an issue where Behind the Curtain was not unlocking or appearing in the mission log. They fixed an issue where Wrench in the Works was not unlocking or appearing in the mission log after completing all your missions. They fixed an issue where the bunker doors during the mission The Old Guard were not recognizing players correctly. They fixed the mission item asset to show a map as well as a transcript for the Total Defense mission. They fixed an issue where the mission item Håkan Peterson's journal did not appear in the mission log for the mission To the Lighthouse. And they fixed an issue where the mission The Hunter would become blocked if you picked up the mission items before you were on that step of the mission. For the challenges, they fixed an issue with the Abandoned Places path would not complete even though you had completed the Behind the Curtain mission, and hopefully that will work retrospectively. For the characters, they fixed various apparel issues, including the Antarctic jacket, making it impossible to load into the game, so hopefully we'll see that Antarctic glitch be gone now that that's been fixed up. They polished various reloading animations as well, so that's pretty big. That means that reloading animations could be changed for how long they take, but seeing them further polished is a great benefit to the game. For the machines, they fixed an issue where runners and ticks would slide after performing a melee attack. Then they fixed an issue where hunters and ticks would sometimes change direction when performing a melee attack, which is huge. That means that it might be a lot easier to dodge hunters and ticks when they're doing their melee attack. They fixed an issue where ticks would sometimes spawn outside of houses instead of inside, which is also a very big change coming to exploring cities and stuff. They fixed an issue where if a tank's machine gun was destroyed by the fire damage from the AG4 rounds, it would still shoot. Hopefully we'll see that for the hunters and the runners as well, because it did affect both of those machines. And also the harvester. They fixed an issue where the hunter shotgun flechettes would stick into your character and remain there until they exploded. They fixed issues with the rival history information not updating correctly in certain circumstances. And they fixed an issue where machines destroyed by a friendly deployable tick would not add to your combat stats for challenges. Now for the world, they fixed an issue where machines would sometimes spawn on top of an underground area instead of inside of it while in multiplayer. Then they fixed an issue where you couldn't shoot through gaps in the wood in certain sheds, which is a huge change coming to the sheds. Those destroyed and run down sheds will now be a very tactile option to utilize when you're fighting against the machines. They gave the duplicate church names for Boo and Angerus their proper names. They fixed an issue where machines weren't spawning properly near Normira Artillery Base, meaning that Normira will now be a little bit more dangerous to farm from. They fixed how players now take gas damage, so they take it properly and can die from it instead of stopping at 25 health. So that means that when you're in a gas swarmed area, you're going to need to chew through your medkits a little bit more here just to make sure that you don't die. They cleaned up tons of small environmental bugs, floating objects, geometry tears, odd collision points, flicker decals, and more. So there's going to be a lot of those little minute changes around the world. They fixed an issue where the map coordinates were displaying the wrong values, and then they fixed a bike spawn issue at the Järvhallen safe house. Now for localization, voiceover, and audio. They fixed an issue where the VO and text would only play for the player who picked up a mission item. They fixed an issue where if you had completed the mission item VO from the calling for help would always play once you started the game. They fixed an issue where the VO lines could get stacked up and then all play on top of each other during the behind the curtain mission. They fixed an issue where the VO lines would repeat and get mixed with an explosion sound during the behind the curtain mission. They increased the volume of the challenge completion fanfare sounds, and they've made several small wording fixes for missions, mission items, and UI prompts. And the outdoor ambience portals, outdoor weather is now audible through doorways and broken windows, and transitions between indoors and outdoors will work better. And then for the crashes, they've fixed various crashes, including a crash fix for when items were attempted to be put in a full plunger box. We're in store for some really big changes coming to the game. Some of the reload animations have been smoothed up and polished. Some of the machine's attacks have been tweaked slightly as per usual. We've got tons and tons of fixes, and we've got some changes to some hitboxes for some of the buildings too. So I think that all of that is incredibly exciting stuff. But outside of that, we've also got these new achievements coming with the Alpine Unrest. And so these achievements are really interesting and even have a few little Easter eggs hidden inside of it. So I'm going to put the achievements up on the screen here for you all to see, and we're going to just kind of read through them and theorize on what these achievements can mean. So the first achievement is Other Survivors, which means to complete the mission not alone. That more than likely will be the initial mission that you get when you head on over to the island. The next achievement is We're Fully Booked, which is completing the mission for the sick and injured. I think that this sounds like a very interesting achievement and an interesting mission to go alongside it. What we could potentially see with this is a new mission formula. We'll have to wait and see, but this could potentially be a sort of mission where we have to go gather supplies and bring them back to the Resistance. Next up, we've got an achievement called Outside in the Distance, which is for completing the mission Nothing But the Snow. Then we've got an achievement called Secrets Locked Away, which is completing the mission The Hellmouth. I think that this is really, really interesting and likely will have some strong story implements inside of the mission The Hellmouth. Then we've got the last achievement here for the missions, which is completing the mission The Resistance to earn Protector of the Resistance. This mission sounds like it's going to be a tough one, more than likely. We might see a very crazy fight happen for this mission. Next up, we've got an achievement called Adapt and Evolve, which is destroy one of each Apocalypse class machine. A tick, a runner, a hunter, and a tank. Which means that potentially we won't see an Apocalypse variant of Harvesters, which I think is actually really, really fitting. The Harvesters are more of a support-based unit in this game, so it makes more sense for the Apocalypse class, which will be primarily combat variants, to be based around just the combat-based machines. Then we've got a collectible achievement called Vestiges, which is finding all of the audio logs on Himfjäll, which will be a fun little collectible collectathon. Then we've got a couple achievements here that are some slight Easter eggs and nods towards the movie The Shining. So we've got the first one here called Here's Polly, which is in reference to the line Here's Johnny from The Shining. And so this will be potentially a fun little set piece to find in the world. I'm going to figure it's going to be like an axe in a door or something like that. And then we've got the achievement Room 237, which is directly pulled from The Shining. So that's going to also be a fun little Easter egg to find, and I feel like both of these Easter eggs and achievements will kind of go similarly to the Back to the Future car that you can find here in Generation Zero. And then for the last achievement, it's called Unorthodox Skiing. And in order to obtain this achievement, you have to get from start to finish on the ski slope in under 40 seconds. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to figure out how to get down the ski slope in the fastest time possible. You can definitely expect videos from me showing you guys how to get those last 3 achievements, but with all of that out of the way, an absolutely mammoth update is coming our way tomorrow. You guys should get out there and get farming those bullets immediately, and make sure that you're fully stocked on adrenaline and medkits and all of that jazz. But for now, I've been Tenebris, you've been awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Until then, peace.